High quality leads and people that are ready to buy, ready to start working with the service or with the client that you're doing these services for really can be a good thing. They can be super important, and they are still really important, but they're not everything. It's not the main important thing. And that's what I'm going to cover in today's video. The one thing that I think many business owners or people are going to miss out on, and something I'm going to definitely start implementing into my own business. And before you think about it, no, it's not AI. And so don't panic just yet. We're not getting onto that topic in this video. But I've written here on my notepad that it shouldn't be just high quality leads, because high quality leads bring so many benefits. Having people that are ready to buy, that actually want to put the work in, that have high intent, are ready to purchase. All of these things are really, really good for a business owner, for a consultant, for anyone that's starting work with another client. It really can be, and I don't want to put a bad tone on that. But the one thing that I've written down here, and many people do miss out on, and something that I used to miss out on, but I'm not going to anymore, is finding out what the client wants. So what's the actual client's ICP? Because it can be really helpful getting people that are ready to buy, ready to purchase to their front door. But if it's not their ICP, if it's not the people they want to work with, that they're excited to work with every single day, they're not going to value your service. They're not going to think that it's worth paying for, because you're delivering people that they don't want to work with, as opposed to people that they do want to work with. And so that's what finding out what the client wants is all about. It's all about understanding, what does your client want to do? Do they want to work with people that have a high budget? Do they want to work with people in a certain location? Do they want them to have time freedom? Do they want them to be in a 9-to-5 job? What's the ICP? Where does your client want to work with? And so I've just given 2 examples here by budget and location. So it could be that the client that they want to work with has a real big budget. It could be that they have a really small budget and they want to pay little and often for the service, or it could be they want to pay one big sum amount at one time and that's it. But it could be either way. And so how do you do this? Well, you need to consult with your client first. You need to ask them, who do they want to work with? And if they don't know, if your client doesn't actually know who they want to work with, they just want to work with as many people as possible, and that's kind of where they leave it, then ask them, what has been the most enjoyable client they've worked with in the past? And if they can find out about that client, and if you can understand what happened in that client's transformation that they were doing for them, then what can you do to try and find more people like that? Do they have a certain characteristic? Do they have one thing that makes them stand out? Do they have something that they do that's very different to everyone else? What's that client relationship like? What do they do with their client to make sure that they are the best suited for their job? And that's what's really important. So having high quality leads, having all these people that are ready to buy, ready to purchase is really good. But then filtering the people that are ready to purchase down into people that are ready to purchase, and people that have high intent, and people that your client wants to work with, that's where the real power of lead generation and qualifying and using all these systems, all these funnels, that's where that really comes in. And so that's something that may be applicable to your business. When dealing with businesses such as course sellers, it's not exactly that they're working with them directly and they're getting this consultation every single day, or they're taking weekly Zoom calls. They just buy the course and that's all. So maybe for that type of business, people want as much volume in as possible. That may be the case, that may not be the case. That's just an example. But what I am saying here is, if your client has a consultation offer or a coaching offer where they're working one-to-one with people, it's really important that you go by these people and you see who they want to work with, who they don't want to work with, and you filter these people through your ads, through your funnels, through your forms that you get them to fill out, whatever it may be. It's important that you get them to qualify based on your client's needs, client's preferences, and anything else that comes into that. And then the question you may be asking is, well, how do I attract all of these people that my client wants to work with? How do I attract the right ICP for my client? Well, maybe you could just put it on your ad creative. So maybe you've got a photo ad creative, and on there you say, we want to work with this type of people, and you put the demographic in bold and in large so people can definitely and clearly see who they want to work with, why they want to work with them, and how to get started if they fit that criteria. That can automatically and already filter out people that they don't want to work with, as well as get people they do want to work with into the funnel, so you can start nurturing them, start converting them, making the client happy because you've provided them with someone that they're already excited to work with. So what do we do when we get people that come into the filter, into the system, into your funnel, that don't actually qualify but are kind of nearly there? Well, you can put these people onto a waiting list or start something else different on the side, like a different type of product. If it's an online course, you can sell some other sort of digital product out there. that is different to that but fits that criteria a little bit more and that demographic a little bit more. But on the whole, if you're filtering for one type of ICP, one type of client, the main thing is to filter down to the people that your client wants to work with, so that when they do start working with them, your service is even better than everyone else's, because it's not just highly qualified leads, it's people that are actually excited and are willing to work with this client, and the client is excited and willing to work with them. Why this should work so well for your business, because it is something that is overlooked. It's not just about the people that are ready to buy high intent, it's about people that are ready to buy high intent and are more than willing and more than ready to put in the work in, if it's for something like a coaching offer or consultation offer, something of that nature. Now, if this ICP is by location, so it's meant to be subject to the location, your client wants to work with people in a certain area, this can be a lot more tricky than if it was just online and compared to everyone, because you have to target this specific area and there's only a certain amount of people in that specific area, often a lot smaller amount than if you were to target by something like budget. So how do we create high quality leads? How do we filter people in a funnel that get through to the stage we want to get them to? Well, by first adding friction. Friction is the amount of stages that is in a funnel, so it could be multiple questions in a form. The more friction, the more steps there are to take, the more people that won't follow through, the more people that will drop off from the form or from the funnel, and that will not turn into clients because it's taken too long, which shows they don't have high intent, they don't actually want to start the service properly, they're not willing to put in the work. And that's exactly why you'd filter out. But then you can also filter for the specific demographic you're trying to target. So let's say it's people with a high budget. You can add a question in such as, how much are you willing to invest in yourself for this service? And depending on their answer, you can then lead them to another question or not. But if you want to take it one step further, after you've asked the financial question, what you would then do is then ask them to put down a deposit to show that they do have high intent, to show that they are ready, and get started with the work you're trying to do for them. And your client can get started with the work that they're trying to help them with. Now, it can get quite complex if you're using automations and logic-based conditioning, and that's where you need the help of experts, but this is just the basic principle. So if you're trying to filter for people for your ICP, just ask questions, get them to answer forms, and make sure that if they don't fit the criteria, you don't enter them to the next stage, or you don't allow them to book a call or take the next step that your client has asked them to take after filling out the form or after clicking onto an ad. Making sure your client is happy and they have good client satisfaction is the number one thing you should be putting in front of everything else when providing your services for your client, and that's why I talk about this video in particular, not just about high quality leads, but by making the leads high intent and have a specific demographic your client wants to work with, such as a high intent ICP. And this is how to build that client satisfaction rate up and make sure you build long lasting trust with your clients, because you're always providing them with the most qualified and most high intent people that they possibly can work with. But more importantly, they want to work with the people because it's their ICP, because it's the people they see. And thank you to everyone that's been watching and following the journey along so far. It means the absolute world to me, and I'm not going to give up on this journey, and neither should you. So I'll end the video there. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to take it one step at a time, and I'll catch you in the next one.